Yes, welcome. We are looking at ecosystem. Ecosystem. We say that ecology is the study of organisms in relation to their environment. This their environment can be living things or non-living things. You understand? I would say that population is the collection of one type of organism, is it not? Whereas community is where different populations are together. Now, ecosystem is a self-supporting system. You understand? A self-supporting system. Just like me now, I'm standing. Am I living in an aquatic environment or terrestrial environment? Terrestrial, because I'm not staying in water, isn't it? But for me to survive, I need to breathe in air, is it not? Air, is it living or non-living thing? Non-living thing, isn't it? Now, do I need only air for me to survive? I need to drink water. Water, is it living or non-living thing? Do I need only air and water to survive? I need to eat food, isn't it? I need to rear cattle or goats or go and buy it from the market, is it not? In order to eat and survive. You understand? So the totality of everything that helps one living being to survive is known as his or her what? Ecosystem. It's known as his or her what? Ecosystem. Good. It has to be self-supporting. It has to be what? Self-supporting. I need water. I go to the stream and fetch water, isn't it? I need to eat. I need protein. I go harvest my beans, cook it and eat, isn't it? I need carbohydrate. I go fetch my what's it called? Maize. You understand? So all those things, they come together to be self-supporting. They come together to be what? And that's why we say that ecosystem is a self-supporting unit that is made up of living parts, isn't it? As well as what? Non-living parts. And these living parts could be what? Plants and animals, isn't it? You need to feed on plants and animals. Is it not what you feed on? Don't you need to feed on plants and animals? Yes. But is it only food that you need to survive? Don't you need to breathe in air and take in water? Non-living things, you also need them to survive, is it not? Yes. You need the temperature from the sun to survive too. If everywhere is very cold, will you survive? You suffer from pneumonia, is it not? So you need totality of both living and non-living things for you to do what? Survive. And that is what we call what? Ecosystem. Ecosystem is a self-supporting unit that is made up of living parts. And these living parts are known as what? Biotic factors. Examples are what? Plants and animals. And also non-living parts. Non-living parts are known as what? Abiotic factors. And examples are what? Water, soil where we grow our plant, is it not? Yes. Air that we breathe in, temperature to keep our environment warm, water current, turbidity, and the rest of them. Is that clear? Yes. Now we look at biomes. We said ecology could be aquatic or what? Terrestrial, is it not? Yes. Or even arboreal. Then we talk about when there is a large natural terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial is not aquatic, is it not? Yes. Terrestrial is on the land, is it not? When you have a large natural one, we call it what? Biome. Call it biome. Example is the equatorial or tropical regions and temperate regions. Who can tell me where is equatorial regions are? Equatorial regions are those regions where the temperatures are high. Example is in Nigeria. Yes. Sub-Saharan Africans, all of them have high temperature. You understand? Temperate region are those regions where the temperatures are very low. Example is where? Where? Europe. When you go to Europe, the temperature there is. Do we have winter in Nigeria? No, sir. But we have it in Europe now. Yes, sir. Snow will start falling. Yes. They have very low temperature. Those people with very low temperature, we call them what? Temperate regions. Whereas the people with high temperature like us here, we call it what? Equatorial or tropical region. Is that clear? Yes, so those are the two major biomes that we have. Is that clear? Yes, now we'll talk about Climax Community. I told us that community is made up of different populations. It's made up of what? Different populations. It could be human beings, it could be plants, it could be other animals. You understand? Now, if you have a population that have a community that have remained the same in its composition and size over a long period of time, we call it what? Climax Community. When there is flooding, what happens to farmland? Who can tell me what happens? flooding? It will destroy the farmland, is it not? So the population there will be destroyed, is it not? If you have mainly Ogo, what will happen to those Ogo? It will be destroyed. So the population will not stay for so long. But if there is nothing like flooding, nothing like fire, if there is fire outbreak in a farmland or in a place, what will happen? The population there will also be destroyed, is it not? But take an instance where there is nothing like that. The population will stay the same for a very long time. And you call such population what? You call such community what? Termites, because it has not been destroyed. It has stayed the same. The size has been the same. Nothing has destroyed some part of it. You understand? And the composition. Now, if you have a community that was made up of human beings, all of a sudden there is earthquake there. Will human beings stay where there is earthquake? No. They will go. Another community will replace there, or another population. So that community will not be made up of the same kind again. It might not have other animals. Wildlife, is it not? Human being will do what? Move out. So we say that a community that remains the same in what? Composition. Composition means the type of population that is in that community. And size, that's numbers, isn't it? So once a community has remained the same in composition and size, over a long period of time, we call it what? Climax community. It is the maximum community that a given habitat can support. Example is a mature forest or grassland. Mature forest simply means forest that has been there for a very long time. That is a climax community. When there is afforestation, when people come and start cutting timber from the forest, what will happen? The community there will be destroyed. It's not. Then you are not going to have climax community. But the destruction or step-by-step changing of this community is what we call what? Succession. Is what we call what? Succession. So what is succession? Succession is the step-by-step, orderly and gradual replacement of communities that leads to a what? Climax community. So when you replace a community with another community, we call it what? Succession. So let's say a place where people are living, all of a sudden there is very great earthquake there. Will people be there? That population of human being will go out, but another population of maybe wild animal will replace it. That is what we call succession. That is what we call what? Replacement of a former community that was there with another one. That is what? Succession. Succession is the what? Step-by-step, orderly or gradual replacement of communities that leads to what? Climax community. There are two types of succession. We have what we call primary succession and what? Secondary succession. Primary succession occurs in an area where no community existed before, and it involves the formation of what? New soil. E.g., when a large rocky slope changes eventually to a what? Forest. A land that was rocky before, no plants, all of a sudden it changes to a what? Forest. You understand? We call that type of succession what? Primary succession. Example, when a shallow lake is filled up with vegetation and then turns into meshes and then into what? Forest. We also call such what? Primary succession. From a place where nothing was before to a place where there is something, call it primary. But secondary succession occurs when an existing community on a terrestrial habitat is what? Disturbed. Like the instance I gave you, when there is what? Fire. Or when there is what? Drought. Drought is when there is no water. When there is no water, organisms, what will they do? They will run from that community. They will not stay there. So it will be replaced by things that can, other organisms that can survive in a drought environment, isn't it? When there is also what? Flood. You understand? Or any of these causes what? Secondary succession in place. So you can find secondary succession in places like abandoned farmland, where you now don't have the population of the normal crops that you should have there. You now start having bushes, isn't it? Overgrazed what? Grassland, and also a what? Timber cleared what? Forest. When you remove the forest community there and you bring in another thing, you have a totally different thing. Now you talk about overcrowding. We talk about what? Overcrowding. That's the last concept you are looking at. Overcrowding is simply when a what? Population in a given habitat increases beyond a point where the resources in that habitat are not enough to support all the individual what? Organisms in the population. Overcrowding. In your house, if your house you're living in one room and you have up to 10 children, you understand? They cannot sleep easily in the house, because the house which is the resources you're providing for the sleeping, is not enough to take the number of kids you have. Then you have what we call what? Overcrowding. You have what we call what? So naturally in ecology, overcrowding occurs when the number of people, you understand, the size of the population is more than the resources, more than the food they can eat, more than the air they can breathe, more than the amount of water they can fetch to use in washing their clothes and cooking their food. You understand? Once the population is more than the resources to support that population, then you have what we call what? Overcrowding. So overcrowding occurs what? Whenever the population increases beyond a point, where resources in the habitat are not enough to do what? Support all the individuals in the population. Factors that affect the population size that could lead to overcrowding or lesser population are things like what? Natality, mortality, immigration, and what? Immigration. Who can tell me what natality means?
Decrease in death rate.
Natality is when you give birth.
Okay.
Whereas mortality is when you do what? Die. Is it not? Natality, you're giving to more population, you're bringing in more offspring. Natality, they are doing what? Die. Mortality is what? Die. Death, isn't it? Natality, giving birth. You understand? So when there is more natality, it's expected that it will be approaching to what? Isn't it? Whereas when there is more mortality, there will be not even enough population, is it not? Immigration simply means coming in. Immigration simply means what? Going out. So when there is more immigration, will there be overcrowding? No, because people are moving out. But when there is more immigration, will there be overcrowding? Most likely. You understand? So that's why some countries, if they don't have enough people to help them work, their labor force is in short, they will do something like visa lottery. Or places like Canada, Australia, and America, you understand, they do visa lotteries, is it not? Because they need more people. There is no overcrowding there. But China will tell you that every family should not give back to more than one child, because they are having what? Their population is becoming too much. Not necessarily overcrowding, you understand? But they are having a phenomenon that is similar to that. So they don't want more people. China is not ready to give you visa lottery. They don't encourage immigration into their country. You understand? Rather, they encourage people to go out so that the resources that they have will be enough for them. Exactly. So very, very important to understand the concept of ecosystem, which simply means a unit that is self-supporting, composing of living parts, which is known as the biotic part, and what? Abiotic part, which are the non-living parts. Human beings need both living and non-living parts to live here.